Hello, Danny.
Oh,
It is good to talk to you again. How have you been?
hmm, been doing pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna move to the camera screen here. Hopefully this works. All right, go and say something for me.
Hopefully that link is still good.
It is. Thank the Lord.
Nice.
so, uh, I this is probably going to be a very long episode. I hope you're okay with that, Danny.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
So, let's cut to the chase and let's get into it. So, Uh, for those of you that are watching this, that were kind of faithful, if you did watch all of the Trials of Casuals podcast series that we did for over a year, um, suddenly it stopped, and that is mostly due to me. Um, Not because I had no want or need for it, but the big killer for me was Bungie laying off a bunch of its employees, which, granted, Danny, you went over with me about that, about a lot of other companies laying off a bunch of their employees, but it still sat wrong with me, and I haven't really made Destiny 2 content since. I haven't done Trials of Casuals podcast, and I haven't done any streams on D2 though. In all fairness, D2 didn't really get any views to begin with, anyways. So if I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too terribly mad about cutting D2. Like, I love the game, but it has kind of gotten a little stale for me in the it's not the shooter that I want in that regards.
Yeah.
Um but with that being said, I do want to keep the podcast going. And so that is what Danny is here with me. That is what we are doing tonight. Is no matter how long it takes, preferably less than 2 hours, because I don't want a fucking 4 hour goddamn video going up on YouTube.
Yeah.
We are doing a live discussion of what's going to be happening with Trials of Casuals. Um, to be perfectly honest, I would love to keep the name just as an homage to how it started, and also I think it's just a phenomenal fucking name. But I'm just afraid that people are going to relate it too much to D2 content and not like other gaming content, which is kind of what I want to go into, which is Danny and I covering other games and like just having a general discussion of them. Um, so, if you wouldn't mind, Danny, just hit me with your opinion of like the current state of D2 and how you feel about it, and like what your thoughts are on continuing the podcast but in a different direction.
So I'll start with the one that is a little easier to answer because right now, specifically right now, I'm very okay with talking about a variety of games because 2024 has started off with some real good ones.
2024 has brought out some certified bangers.
And here's the kicker: most of them are less than $40.
Yeah, that is. I mean, a great example is Helldivers. Helldivers
It
2.
is phenomenal.
And it's
That
what 40
game,
it's what 30 40
it's
bucks.
yeah, like, and it came out on PC and PlayStation at the same time. So, props to them for actually doing a same day launch. That's and crossplay.
Yeah, and
That's nice.
yeah, and I mean Helldivers is nuts cuz it's actively changing as the game is being played,
Yep.
which is
Everybody contributes to the global map, well, the universal map.
all hail democracy.
Spreading democracy and throwing out plenty of cups of liberty.
I will say though, Danny, I haven't had a chance to play Helldivers 2 because I don't have a PlayStation 5, but the Helldivers memes are beautiful. They're
Oh, they
amazing.
are fresh.
They're
And
they're hot. They're hot.
props to Arrowhead. They have great direction. They've been given the freedom to do what they want with the game. Sony's just publishing it, so extra plus.
And the CEO is a genuinely decent dude too.
A based individual.
Based individual. What was that tweet that he made? It was a response to someone saying that he wished that they could buy Helldivers 2, but they don't have the money for it. And the CEO of Helldivers 2, CEO of the company that made it, which is what, Arrowhead,
Yep.
stated, "Hey, don't spend your money right now. Wait until we fix the servers and open up more server capacity, and then wait to buy Helldivers 2 once you have more money. It would break my heart if you bought Helldivers 2 and then couldn't play it."
Yep.
And I'm like, that's
Also,
based as fuck.
another thing that he is quoted for, there were people asking if they had considered adding PvP to the game, and
Yes,
his
I saw
response
that.
was, "No, we do not ever intend to add PvP to the game. If you want a PvP extraction shooter, I hear Tarkov is pretty good. I would recommend that."
That is, yeah, no, again, see, Arrowhead CEO is based as fuck. Because he's like, the whole point of the game is it's supposed to be cooperative. It's the whole point of the game is to be cooperative, work with your teammates to do the objective. He doesn't want
It's good at that.
that, yeah, he doesn't want that toxic PvP mentality in the game. And I'm like, based!
Yeah.
Based!
And as someone that's put a little bit of time into it, even the microtransactions that are in the game are like minimal. They're purely basically cosmetic. Someone was complaining, "Oh, these are pay to win because some of the armors have stats." You can get the same stats in different armor that just rotates around in the normal shop. It's in the game. You don't have to spend money after you bought the game.
Yeah, and I like that because it's optional. You don't like,
Yeah,
yeah, it can give you a little bit of a head start because you have better shit, but like
you can get it
it's
anyway.
yeah, it's not a necessity because you're going to get the armor at the appropriate level anyways.
And it doesn't take long. Plus, you can actually earn their premium currency by picking up special things that you find while doing missions. So you can earn it in the game too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, going off, go ahead and continue on with your point of
So
2024 being a banger.
yeah, no, there's Helldivers 2. Nightingale just came out, also kind of has some server issues, but that looks. I've been waiting for that game for a long time. And Last Epoch as well just came out, which does Diablo 4 better than Diablo 4.
That is sad, but
Easily.
also yes. I mean, we've also seen a lot of games get minor updates as well,
Yep.
which, like for example, World of Warcraft with Season of Discovery, which I know basically killed the Wrath of the Lich King servers, like absolutely fucking nuked them.
And
That shit was hysterical. The teasers that we've seen, the new
mhm.
Elden Ring. I don't know if you saw that one, Danny.
I I am very interested. I never got to finish it because my Xbox bricked, so I
Yeah,
will hopefully in the future be able to play it again. But
yeah, because
people been waiting for that.
there's because I don't remember if it's a full game or if it's DLC. There's also
It's
a
DLC.
yeah, there's also a trailer. I literally saw it 2 minutes before we started this video of Pokemon Legends Celebi,
Oh, they're making another Legends game, but interesting,
which
interesting choice.
in all fairness though, I have heard nothing but good things about Legends Arceus. So I have high hopes because people loved because as much as people hated like Scarlet and Violet, people love Arceus for
Scarlet and Violet, I do want to talk about a little bit because the game itself is not bad. It's just do not give uh they do not give Game Freak enough time to like work out bugs.
yeah, well, and that's also part of like the issue of and this is a problem that we've had for a long time in the gaming industry of do you remember 10 years ago, like 10 to 15 years ago when a game came out and that was it. Like the game came out and it was fully set, no problems. Like, and then worst
Yep.
comes to worst, they did like a hot fix, and hot fixes were few and far between. Like a great example is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, also known as Call of
Yep.
Duty 6, right? Like Modern Warfare 2 came out and there was no DLC. Like, it was just the full game, or you could get the bonus game with the maps on release, right? And
Yep.
they did one hotfix, I think it was like 6 months into the game, where they nerfed Model 18 Akimbos because it was literally breaking the game. For those of you that are COD fans from years ago, you will remember the pain and misery that was Model 18 Akimbos literally getting one shot straight to the dome. Um,
Just got flashbacks.
yeah. Mind you, again, this is also the same game that had one man army noob tube refreshes, and they never patched that. They never went back and took it out. They were like, fuck it, it's in the game, right? And the problem is that so many people have come to start bitching about games that this is where kind of where we go into live service games, right? Every new game that comes out is now a live service game, and that's both a blessing and a curse because on one hand, it means that if there's a really big problem, the game can be fixed. On the other hand, players have now gotten used to the fact that the game can be fixed, and when it doesn't get fixed, they bitch and moan
Mm-hmm.
about it. And developers are kind of stuck in a really bad place because they want to pump out as many games as possible and make good games, but they also have to maximize profit. And I'd like to see a return of one off games, of just the game is out, that's it. Just take the time, spend the money to make a good game, and your sales will reflect that. Again, Modern Warfare 2 was one of the best selling Call of Duty games of all time. And it's crazy when they re-brought the servers back on 360,
Yep.
it went almost to 500,000 players within 2 days. That is fucking insane. 2 days, 500,000 players instantly logged on back into a game that is from 2009.
Which also reminded me of another thing that is coming out.
All right.
Actually, if I remember correctly, it's very soon. They're re-releasing the OG Star Wars Battlefront games.
Yes, I did see that, and I know a lot of people are very excited about that. That is another one of those people have been asking for this for a long time.
$32.
Yeah, again, another game under the $40.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, 2024 has treated us very, very well so far, and honestly, I'm very excited for the rest of 2024. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming out.
Yep.
Again, more Pokemon DLCs, Elden Ring stuff. Uh,
Probably gonna get some of the remastered Sega games.
yeah, that's super dope. Something that is interesting that we also see is more games that were exclusives being traded. I don't know if you saw that, Danny, but
Yep.
Xbox exclusives were getting traded to
So
PlayStation.
this is a big thing for anyone that enjoys games because it is a step towards the ending of exclusivity, which I think is a good thing for everybody that enjoys playing games.
Yeah,
Also, it's a massive middle finger to Ubisoft right now because Sea of Thieves is a better pirate game for less price.
facts. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, one of the games that I'm very, very, very excited about is Gears of War 5. I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't like Gears of War 4 and 5. I'm still a fan of the Gears series. I still believe that Judgment Day should have been a fucking DLC to 3, but that's just me. Um, but the fact that Xbox exclusives like Gears 5 are coming to PlayStation 5. The only issue that I have with a lot of these games is that none of them are going, like, there are almost zero games being put into the older series. So, like, what's the new Xbox console out right now?
Oh, the Series X.
Yeah, what was the one before that? The Xbox One?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 are basically almost not going to be receiving any new games anytime soon, if at all. Everything's almost
And
being basically released for the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X.
and the really unfortunate thing is that Sony came out in a statement and deemed that the PS5 is in the late stages of its life cycle.
Which is crazy to me because the PS5 didn't come out that long ago. It was how long?
It's been out for a few years, but because of the combination of hardware shortages and scalpers, it tanked their profits.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing is that in my opinion is the company's fault
Yep,
for not making enough models, not
it
making
is,
enough
it
product
is
for the Sony knows. Sony knows that PlayStation's going to sell. Why they didn't
and
make more units is beyond me, which is
that
crazy.
on top of the fact that they didn't have any countermeasures for scalpers and bots, which really messed things up.
Which is crazy because it didn't really happen to Xbox,
Nope.
which is weird and bizarre, which makes zero sense, and I don't understand why it happened as such.
Like, I think it was just a time and place thing. The PS5 was the hot ticket item at the time, and people gravitated towards trying to buy up as many as possible.
Yeah, which it is something that has to be kind of warned about in the future because we that was a really awful fucking thing to deal with. Like if you wanted a PS5, you couldn't fucking get one like
And if you
anywhere.
wanted one, it was gonna cost you like 1,500.
Yeah, which is wild to me. Like I'm sorry, 1500, brother. I can buy a full PC for that price.
Yup.
Like I'd rather just buy like. Here's my thing: if any console is worth more than $500, it's not worth buying. It is a console. It is for
I
casual
agree.
enjoyment. No. Do you remember the price of the PS4 when it first came out?
It it was teetering around that 500 line.
See, that's crazy because I remember because I bought my PS4. Now, mind you, it was probably I think a year or so after I think it came
Yeah,
out.
no, like a year after, it was a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, because I bought my PS4 for 200 and it was the Destiny White PS4 back when Destiny 1 first came out.
Yep,
And it was the Destiny 1 White PS4. And I bought it for 200 and it came with D1. So, like and to go back even further, right? Look at the PS4 and the Xbox One, then look at the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. At max, when they first released, they were $100 a piece. 100. Brother, that is chump change. That is chump
like
change right now.
somehow we ended up going back to around like the late 90s, early 2000 console prices, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the mid, like, between the 90s and early 2000s, some of the consoles were pushing $1,000.
Yeah, which is insane to me. And then we got better with itemizing and compacting the consoles. And I think that was like the crowning achievements of the console series was, and I'm going to be completely blunt, it was around 2000, 2001. It was the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 2, and the Nintendo GameCube.
The
The
GameCube and the PS2 were huge
yeah,
for gaming.
yeah, and the 360 was right up there with it because it had some amazing games, right? Like all three of those consoles are goated. Like that's what we grew up on in me and
And
Danny's childhood.
yep. And then we moved on to after that. Then we had probably, if I'm remembering the numbers correctly, one of the most successful consoles of all time, the Wii.
The Wii, yeah, the Wii I have kind of a hate like love
It
hate
was
relationship with.
weird, but it sold well.
It did. It did sell well. It was here's the thing. Honestly, I would love if we went back to the Wii a little bit cuz I'm going to be completely honest, as much as the Nintendo Switch is cool, it's kind of annoying having to change fucking consoles constantly and then
Yep.
everything basically being outdated. Like you can't use any of the games for the Wii for any other games. You can't.
Yep.
Like
Which
it's
is it's
so
so
dumb.
wild because the Wii at a certain point in its lifespan was modified to actually play GameCube games.
Yeah. Like
Like,
that's another thing great thing to talk about is the lack of backwards compatibility for new consoles. They're
yep.
only pushing newer games. I would love to see consoles go back. I would love to see Microsoft and Bungie go back and be like, you know what? Maybe we should do backwards compatibility. Fuck it. Let's just let everybody play whatever game they want from their respective lines. Like, I want to be able to play a PlayStation 2 game on a PS5.
Like that's why I'm so happy like seeing things like the Battlefront Classic Collection come out. It's like they took those old games that yeah, they're still available technically on Steam, but they gave them a little bit of refreshing like and functional like monitored online multiplayer. That's a big thing right there, having a little bit of a safety net there,
Yeah,
because currently all the servers for the OG Battlefronts are like personal servers.
basically, yeah. And it's something that's interesting and that's near and dear to my heart is I would just love to see them do more backwards compatibility. Like even if
Yep.
they make hell, I would be fine if they made remakes every now and then. Like cool, you want to make a remake 10 years down the line of a game that everybody loves or hell 15 years, 20 years down the line. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Hell, if you want to completely redo all the graphics but basically keep like the same text box, I'm fine with that. Like, I would love to go back and play like a bunch of the old Fable games, right?
Oh god, I that actually reminds me. I'm very intrigued at the new one.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff about it.
But it would be nice to have the previous games in a refreshed state.
Yeah, I mean another series that I would love to see come back. I hear me out. Hot take. I think Ape Escape was dope.
I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't made like at least a remaster
Yeah,
because
it was
oddly,
dude. That was a PS2 classic.
oddly enough, a game that did in fact get a remaster that kind of took me by surprise was Katamari.
Yeah, Katamari is also just a certified
It's
banger.
it's just fun. It's just a fun game.
Katamari is a great game. I mean, one that hit us a couple years ago that we never thought was going to get a remake was Shadow of the Colossus.
That was wild.
That and the remastered is beautiful. Chef's kiss. Well
Look,
done on the
the
remastered.
original the original holds up surprisingly well considering when it came out.
Oh yeah, it's the well. I mean, it was probably the best graphics game of its time. I think it still technically is. If you go back and look at like the charts of
Yep,
like graphics that still hold up to this day, OG Shadow of the Colossus is up there. And it took how long for it to get a remake? And the new remake did not disappoint. It looks because that's one part of the game that's like very specific to that game is that it's supposed to be a beautiful but despairing game. Like that's
it
the whole point of
was
it.
primarily a tech demo too. It came out in 2005. The original game
Almost
came out
20 years ago.
yeah, the original game came out in 2005 and they had some of the best like hair physics you would ever see in a game for like years.
Facts.
It
Yeah,
was
no.
wild.
Yeah. So, but uh going on from that, I do need to change the topic here before we get completely sidetracked, reminiscing
Yep.
about the good old days. Um we need to discuss what kind of things that we're going to be doing on the podcast, what kind of things we're going to talk about, and kind of like a timeline
Yeah.
for how we want to handle it. Because I don't know about you, Danny. I like collaborating with you, and I like doing videos with you. And
Yeah.
I'd like to do more shit like this. Granted, once Cryptic can actually do editing, we'll have some spicy edits, which will be dope. Um, so let's go on about that. Is let's discuss what kind of things we would like to talk about and what kind of things that we shouldn't talk about on it. Um, like, do we talk about specific games that we're excited for, or do we look at current games that we are playing and kind of just chat about them? And then that's just what we do for the past, for the week.
I think we could do like we could alternate, go do a little bit of both. 'Cause there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, because here's my thing. I would love to do gaming news in general, but I do not have the technological skills to constantly pump out fucking videos nor edit myself. So that's why.
Also, like gaming news in general is kind of it's kind of rough, especially looking at the number that I pulled up for my like second point. So the industry from 2023, well, the last part of 2023 to the beginning of 2024, there were a total of 10,500 developers laid off
Across all companies, correct?
across like all companies. That at least in when this particular article was written,
Yeah, and when
which
was
was
when was that written?
back in January, where they reported 5,900 were laid off in January alone.
Right, and that wasn't even when Activision did their layoff, right?
Nope, that was all from Embracer,
Yeah, like
which led
that's.
to a very, very good jab from Greg Miller at the Dice Awards.
Oh, see, I missed that.
Oh, I need to see if I can find it because mm, it was hard hitting.
I don't doubt it. And again, like the problem that we had was gaming companies going so hard. And again, it's another one of those issues of if you make a good game in the start of the process, you don't have to go back and fix it.
There it is. Exactly, but it was just Bungie was the first one that started the layoffs, and it got worse the more companies that started laying people off.
Yeah, which is crazy because Bungie had been hiring all of 2023.
Yep,
Like they
and
were constantly posting that they were hiring.
the ones that hurt quite a bit as well after that was, I think, CD Projekt Red had to make some cuts,
What game did
and
they make?
they did Witcher series and Cyberpunk,
Oh, right, yeah.
and also Riot.
Yeah, Riot was the really big one. I know streamers for League have been absolutely flaming the shit out of them.
Because if I remember correctly, part of the team that was working on Arcane got hit in those layoffs.
Yep, and almost every single person in Riot Forge,
Yep.
which for those of you that don't know what Riot Forge is, most of you who if you're going to watch this, you probably have heard of League of Legends. Riot Games is the people that make League of Legends, and also their two other main games, Teamfight Tactics and Legends of Runeterra, or also known, or there's also Valorant, right? So there's technically four games, but two of them are on the same client. TFT and regular League of Legends are on the same client. Legends of Runeterra and Valorant are on their own separate clients. Riot Forge is the one that's in control of all of the minor games. These are things like Song of Nunu, Ziggs's Explosiveness, right? Silas and the Mage Seekers, right? Along with the Ruined King video game, which released on consoles as well as PC, which, by the way, was a Final Fantasy based uh, turn-based tactics fighter, which very good by the way. I cannot recommend it enough. It is a certified banger. Um, they laid off almost all the people from Riot Forge, so don't expect another like indie version of a game to come out anytime soon.
Yep.
And that one hurt a lot because people loved those games. People loved Ruined King. People loved Silas and the Mage Seekers, right? People loved Song of Nunu. Ziggs, I didn't know if much people did played Ziggs. I know a lot of people also played the Echo one, though I haven't played that. but a lot of people liked the indie games, and they're releasing one more game that they finished before, but they're still just finishing touches, which is the Bandle City. Like, the best way I can describe it is if Stardew City and League of Legends had a baby, and that's what Bandle City is. Like, it's you play as a Yordle in Bandle City, which is a region in League of Legends, and you basically like own a farm. It's really fucking weird. But I digress. It's cool. I may buy it just because I think it's kind of funny. But
Yeah,
yeah, like that was a huge hit.
it was all across like any studio that was under the branch of AAA was primarily affected. The smaller studios, not so much because well, they're smaller studios and they are self-contained.
Yeah,
But yeah, a lot of corporate fallout basically.
yeah. It's there's been a lot of problems with the gaming industry and specifically companies in general right now, and it's nuts. Actually, I also thought of something, Danny. Is when we do these episodes, what if we bring like 3 or 4 points to talk about each, and we'll just pass back and forth of like topics that we can talk about of like something maybe cool that happened that week.
Yeah, that works. That's a good way to segue things.
Yeah, because that means that we'll have like 10 to 15 to 20 minutes to talk about a specific subject, and then we can move on to the next one. That way, we can keep the conversation fresh. Because again, these are going to be a little more
A little
lackadaisical.
freeform.
Yeah, a little bit more freeform than us reading fucking patch notes. Um, and we'll be able to, and it'll be cool. Like, I'll still report stuff on like minor games that both Danny and I play. For example, like, we can still cover Destiny 2 stuff. I still enjoy reading the patch notes. Like, the patch notes will forever still be a thing
Yeah,
in my heart. Like, I love reading
and
patch notes. Um,
that's the double-edged sword for me with how the patch notes have been lately.
oh God, have
Because
they been bad? I haven't seen a lot of them
no,
recently.
the opposite.
They've been really good.
I like it hurt me seeing so many people get laid off last year. Every single one of these updates they've done this year, though, have been absolute fire, and I am shocked.
I guess
This next update,
they finally put money where their mouth is, which I'm happy about.
like for instance, the first update that is coming in March, they're adding new weapons to the rotation, brand new weapons into the loot pool.
Okay,
Uh, Prophecy Dungeon is getting a complete new set of weapons with origin traits.
okay, that's good.
They're all those weapons that they're putting in Prophecy, by the way, are the other Trials of the Nine weapons that they didn't bring back prior.
Which we haven't seen in years.
And PvP is getting an absolute massive overhaul and a mode that is just guns, no abilities.
Oh, baby, I'm here for that.
They're calling it hardware.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
They're- They also mentioned uh, they're changing how special ammo works, giving you enough special ammo at the start to get 2 kills, and if you want any more, you have to build a meter that cannot be built by special or heavy weapons. It has to be built with primary weapons and abilities.
I'm fucking here for that. Fuck you, Jotun abusers.
Yep. And on top of that, they're also experimenting with bringing back the special ammo crates to potentially have you start with no special ammo.
I'm also here for that. I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, they. I've actually been genuinely impressed. They're actually cooking.
I'm here for that. I'm totally here for that. I also saw that they're changing a bunch of the Trials of Osiris cards.
Yep, I key in on some of those. They're making it so they're adding a new trials passage that will allow you to fill the card and have a chance of getting an adept weapon for that weekly drop without going flawless.
Which is nice, because unless you're a fucking sweat lord or a hacker, you're basically not going flawless.
And on top of that, they're actually adding more rewards to the competitive playlist, including, if you hit a specific rank, artifice armor.
That's interesting. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Um, it's honestly
Yeah,
about time.
more ways to get artifice armor than doing the dungeons. Or if you like PvP and don't like PvE, there you go. You can get artifice armor.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I think that's totally fine. Um, yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I've also heard that this season has been mad cooking on the story.
Oh, they delivered, and also they gave us an activity that it ramps up in difficulty, but if you complete a secondary objective through it, you get kind of ridiculous amounts of rewards that you can choose.
Oh, you can choose?
Yeah,
Well, that's interesting.
they have special chests in some of the completed waves that will offer you either armor or weapons.
All right, I'm here for that.
They're learning, they're listening, and I'm kind of okay with that.
That's a good start. That's a good start. I don't know if I'll come back to D2 before
I'm
the final shape
waiting.
drops.
I'm waiting on what they announce for their little thing that they've called Into the Light, because there are rumors floating around, and these are rumors. I will specify that. So take it with a grain of salt. But there are rumors that the content vault is going to be involved with Into the Light.
Now, what is Into the Light?
It's going to be their little free update lead into the final shape. So it'll come out a little bit before, give players time to do a few things and get ready for the final shape drop. But rumors are flying around that they may be dusting some stuff off and bringing it out of the content vault for that.
All right, that's interesting. I am
Because
I'm very curious.
I did a little bit of digging to find more of a reason why some things were vaulted. Namely, the answers that I got for a couple expansions, Curse of Osiris and Warmind. Those were made by High Moon and Vicarious Visions, which are owned by Activision. So there's a lot of stuff in there that's technically royalties to Activision. So they kind of threw those into a vault.
Well, and also those expansions sucked.
There was just nothing left to do in those.
Yeah, they
Nothing
were
was at
ass.
level, and they were kind of unneeded. Which fair enough. Forsaken's the one that kind of bothers me and a lot of other people because that's a really good campaign. But I get that the only main part of Forsaken that a lot of that took place in was the Tangled Shore, and yeah, I get that. I understand removing the Tangled Shore.
Yeah, Tangled Short sucked.
There was just nothing there.
It sucked. It sucked as a zone. Also, nobody fucking likes Scorn. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Fuck Scorn.
Yep. And one thing that I am hoping that they listen to with feedback is, because I know a lot of people want this, separate the battlegrounds and the strikes. Leave the battlegrounds to their own playlist.
Yes.
Leave the strikes to their own playlist. Don't put them in the same playlist, please.
Yes. Almost every single fucking battleground is fucking garbage.
They are awful as Nightfalls. I do not want to do them anymore as Nightfalls.
Yeah, because it's almost primarily the Nightfall strike the Nightfall playlist is almost completely dominated by battlegrounds. It's miserable. It's fucking miserable. It's garbage. Like, I played these missions so I could do the story, so I could move on and do other things. I don't want to go back to them.
Yep, and the story that's in the battlegrounds are tied to the specific seasons that the battlegrounds came from. So having them mixed in with strikes doesn't really make sense because at least the strikes are like their own self-contained story.
Yeah. No, exactly. Again, I'm here for that. I'm totally fine with that.
That's kind of where the state of the game is right now. They're doing a massive overhaul for PvP and they're adding some more loot and a little refresher of things.
I'm
which is
here
nice
for it.
to see.
I'm here for it. Now let's discuss something that we definitely need to figure out. Uh, what time and day do we want to record, and what day do we want this video to come out, or the videos following this to come out? Because I'll probably upload it tonight and have it come out tomorrow. But just as like a general idea, when do we want to try and do this? Like, what would be the most convenient?
That is a great question.
Because mostly right now, because I am unemployed, so my schedule is completely free, other than like recording on Tuesday night, because that's when I have raid.
Yeah, and mine varies because most days I stream during the day, and nights are usually free, except for Wednesdays because I stream at night on Wednesday because I use that day to do errands.
Right. So, do we want to stick with the old Trials of Casuals podcast, which is record either Thursday or Friday night and then release on Friday or Saturday at noon?
We can try that at least to start, and we can move it around if we need to.
Yeah, because now that it's not, because the main reason why is because we're not limited to when patch notes come out now.
Yeah,
So
when
we
the
can
when the TWAB comes out.
twab. Yeah. Where twab? Um. Yeah, since we're not limited to that, we can kind of just mess around with it. I would like to keep it on like a semi decent like schedule. Like if we have to
Yeah,
change a day or here or there, that's fine. Actually, you know what we could do is we could do like Friday night, and we could do it like uber fucking late because Danny, I know your schedule is just as degenerate as mine.
oh yeah,
Because you're up till like 2 in the fucking morning, anyways.
sometimes.
Yeah, because your schedule. I mean, it's probably not as degenerate as mine. Because mine, I'm up till like 3 in the morning, and that's just because I just can't sleep. From
So
the ADHD.
so like the past 2 weeks, I've been falling asleep at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. So here's something that we could do, Danny. Okay, so hear me out.
Yeah,
What if we record super late on Friday nights? Like, and by late, I mean like, fuck it, we schedule it at midnight,
yeah, we can do that.
and then and then after the video, after we record the video, I'll just upload it and have it released on Saturday afternoon at like noon.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. The other thing, okay, now I think this is the other main point that I need to figure out is, are we keeping the name?
I kind of agree that it's a pretty solid name.
Yeah, even though it is mostly D2 related, because obviously it was mostly a D2 podcast. It's at least now we have like at least we can pay like homage to where it started.
Yeah,
So you agree we should keep the name?
yeah, I would agree that we should keep the name because at at the least it's consistent.
Okay, I'm down for that. And then I could probably still see if we can have Cryptic make this might actually help him on his thumbnail making because he can't really edit videos, but he can make thumbnails right now. So we
Yeah,
could give him some creative create some artistic creativity here, or what is the fucking term for it? God damn it. Um we can let his artistic creativity flow, I guess is the right
yeah,
thing to say.
because like it's evolved to more than just Destiny.
Yeah. So like we can just let him kind of do what he wants to do.
Yeah, a little creative liberty.
Yeah. And at any point in time, we can just discuss it in the middle of a video like, "Hey, do we want to change something?" Cuz honestly, fuck it, that's content to me and I'm down for that.
Yeah,
So yeah. All right. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, so we'll shoot to record on Friday nights. Unless for some reason we decide to do a recording during the day, which wouldn't bother me really. unless I had something conflicting with it. And then release on Saturday afternoons. Am I missing anything that we really need to talk about?
I'm trying to think because
Because it's
I
just gonna
hit
be
the big points.
yeah, because it's just gonna be us talking about things that we're enjoying about the games, things that we need to bitch and moan about. Um, I guess we can talk about we can actually talk about our streams and our stream schedules, though mine's kind of fucked right now.
Mine
Um,
bounces back and forth some weeks
yeah.
because sometimes I will like swap around when I stream depending on like if I'm helping moderate somewhere or not.
No, that's fair. That makes complete sense. I get it. Then yeah, we'll figure that out. But we can still do our normal like things at the very end.
Yeah.
Is there any other gaming news you wanted to share? Because I'm pretty sure now that we've gotten most of this stuff done, we other than that, it's now we're just in the casual talking points.
I've been sitting here like debating if I want to bring up our favorite punching bag game or not.
Oh, do it. I need to spit some vitriol.
Okay, I'm ready for it because World of Tanks console. What a what a thing that it is right now.
I've seen the Calliope and how fucking miserable it is.
It's like if you find something that has no armor, yeah, it's got the penetration for it, but god damn is it miserable fighting anything with armor. I don't have it, but it's like one of the tanks at tier 6. I like you can sit there and fire all of your rockets at me. I don't care. You're not doing like any damage to most of the things I play anyway.
Yeah, Danny's out here just in the fucking Japanese heavies.
Just like I've been I've been grinding the E5 line for content, and I just sit there. The front of those tanks don't care. Like
Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about World of Tanks for a moment because you know what? I think it's we've had some. I've definitely had a miserable week trying to figure things out with puppers. Which, by the way, for those of you that don't know, since I haven't posted a video in a while, Fiora passed away, so I got a new puppers. Her name is Narnia. She is adorable, and she will not stop shitting on my floor.
oh,
Um, because she's a rescue. So we're working on
yeah.
that. But yeah, no. Much like my dog, I'm about to take a dump on World of Tanks real quick. Uh,
I'm ready for this because especially after their veteran reward, which
garbage,
do I want to
garbage.
talk about that and what they did with that because it's just like this
It's
is a
garbage.
very it's like it's an okay tank,
It's garbage. It's fucking.
but at the same time they sold it at a discount for how many years you've been playing if you didn't get it for free. That feels kind of not great.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's you and I have discussed long before the Trials of Casuals podcast, that players in World of Tanks will spend money if they want to spend money, and if they don't, they don't. Like it's a free to play game. Congratulations, you've learned how economics work.
Yep.
It is. Here's my thing. I like the season pass and what they've done to the season passes
Oh
recently.
yeah.
At least recently, they've done a pretty decent job. At least giving more and more like tanks and tanks of actual value in the season passes. Um, but for the love of God, hear me out. Can we please get two separate battle passes between Cold War and World War II? Because I'm gonna be honest. As someone who doesn't actively play Cold War, I don't like getting a Cold War tank as my level 100 and then getting a bullshit tier 8 I already fucking own.
Yeah.
That
I
feels bad.
I have two qualms with it. One, stop making high alpha tier 10 premiums in those, please. Please stop with the high alpha tanks. That's just all I
Sand
ask
to
for
those in
those.
the fucking back, please.
Just the amount of passes that have ended in a high alpha tank, or even the ultimate pass having it. Please stop with the tier 10s with the massive guns. They're supposed to be like few and far between, not every other tank.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. They're
uh,
number one, they're fucking miserable. Number two, a lot of those tanks still plague the game today. Like to
yep.
this day, I know if I see an AVRE, I know for a fact I'm getting hit for 1,000 every time, and he's gonna hit my
Mm-hmm.
turret for it.
Yep.
Like I'm
And
sorry, that's for a live service game. World Wargaming has no idea how to fucking balance. I will say
it's
it once and
so
I'll say it every
poorly
time.
so poorly balanced with all the high alpha tanks. It really is. And
There's no point to armor.
yep, this is actually the thing because I have been playing Cold War a little bit, just because like I want to know what is going on both sides. Era 1 is okay. It's fine. Once you get to Era 2 where it's nothing but ATGMs, Jesus Christ, that sucks. That
Oh,
is the worst.
it's a shit show.
If you don't have an ATGM, you're just not having a good time. That's Era 2. Era 3, everyone just it's just a free for all.
You're playing dodgeball.
Everything is so fast, and if you don't stick with the murder ball that is your team, you just kind of die.
Yeah, it's you're playing dodgeball is what
Yeah,
it is.
everything at Era 3 is basically the same. There is like nothing unique about anything that is in Era 3. They're all basically the same as far as like gameplay goes.
Yeah, they're all copy and paste of pretty much the exact same tank.
Yeah, but Era 2, especially after this recent update where they added the new German lights and tank destroyers. They added the funny German tank destroyer that has two ATGMs. It can fire both of them like an autoloader,
Which, by the way, makes zero fucking sense.
and they do about 1,000 average damage apiece.
Yeah. R.I.P. your health bar. And a problem that I have with wargaming is they keep focusing more on Cold War and less on World War II, and because of it, World War II is slowly declining. Which, hear me out. If you fixed World War II, more people would play World War II. Because here's the dumb part: all of the problems that we just stated for Cold War's still more balanced,
Yep, because they put more time into it.
which is
And it
so dumb.
shows. Like, World War II, at the most, lately, they brought back some maps and added a quote unquote community map, which is basically just plastered on top of South Coast. I will never let that go. It is just a section of South Coast with a bunch of random shit that's been put on top of it. You're not gonna sneak that by me. I've been playing the game for over a decade. You're not sneaking
Oh.
that part of a map by me.
You're not wrong.
Like, that's my only problem is that the fact that they say new. Just be honest. Nobody's gonna be mad at you if you say we used part of an old map.
But don't pass it off as a new map.
Also, don't say, oh, we've refreshed these maps when all you did was add just a bunch of particle effects and smoke and fire.
Yeah,
Which kills frame rate, by the way.
yeah, and here's the dumb part: the graphics almost look exactly the same.
They do. Like all
Like,
those old war maps, those war variant maps that everybody hated because it just had a bunch of random stuff thrown everywhere. It's the same thing.
yeah, like, oh my god, there's just some maps that are just absolutely fucking miserable. Just absolutely fucking miserable.
Whatever their take was on Airfield,
Oh, Serene Coast.
that's I hate. Anytime I see it, I still hate it. I don't want it to exist.
Yeah, that is the one map that I think that I've been very joyous about coming back. Because it plays great. I love Airfield. It
Yeah,
still
air,
plays the exact same way that it used to. It
it's
is just
good.
a giant death ball in the middle, and it's
Yeah.
great. I love it. It's phenomenal. Because Airfield will forever just be a giant fucking death ball in the middle, and you pray to God you don't get. The only issue is that now you're gonna get hit for 1,000 if you push.
Yep. Absolutely. And the amount of tanks that I, I have to rag on this thing for existing. Whatever ungodly abomination that they made that is a hybrid of an E4 and a shit barn. No, that thing should not exist.
Yeah, that and the Centurion AVRE.
Like, even the most recent tank, which I have upon, like, encountering it and messing around with other players that are playing it, that high alpha auto loading heavy tank, which is not great, but still, it's a high alpha auto loading heavy tank. There are several things wrong with that statement, and heavy tank is not what's wrong with that statement.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
still have a problem with the T58.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it completely replaced the T-57.
It's a better Waffle E100.
Yeah, with a shorter reload time.
It's like, why? Why does that exist? Why?
Yeah, exactly. God, I feel so glad. I'm so glad that we get to shit on wargaming and World of Tanks again, Danny. It feels so good.
It does. It feels even better because, like, a combination of things. I get to see what PC's been doing, which, by the way, they're also revamping the maps now. They're adding ways to, like, change the map during the battle, which is kind of neat.
Oh, so kind of like Battlefield, and that like shit can
Kind of,
like break down.
yeah. They're adding, like, events that can change the layout of the map a little bit, or things that can be triggered to open up more pathways. Which is kind of neat.
Okay, you know
Also,
what? I'm here for that.
Also, with PC, armor works. The penetration system works. I want to put that out there as clearly as I can say it. The penetration works on PC like it's supposed to most of the time. Uh, Still the thing that I cannot stand with console is the penetration is inconsistent, which is why everybody spams premium, by the way.
Oh, 1,000%. Premium is an absolute necessity if you want to do literally anything.
Yep. Which the downside to having to spam premium to get any kind of consistency is that armor doesn't really matter in tier 10 more often than not.
Yeah, because they refuse to fucking nerf the damage for the increased pen.
Yep.
Which again, my brother in Christ, like, why would you not just use premium? Like, here's the thing: you can spam premium all game, and as long as you connect those premium shells, you will still make silver.
Yep. Especially with all of the high alpha premium tanks that they added.
Yeah, like
You
one shell
definitely
nets you
make
like 20,000 fucking silver when it counts for like 5,000.
Yeah. Like, for instance, even the shit barn out of the tech tree, if you pin your hash rounds, you're making that money back. Easy.
Yeah, not on top, not, and that's not even counting the kill gold, the travel XP, right? All of the other 5 million other things. If you win, you get more. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
It's a mess. It's a mess. I've even been playing War Thunder lately. And it's overall a fairly pleasant experience, aside from getting 500-pound bombs dropped on my head every other minute.
no, no, that sounds like War Thunder.
Other than that, it's fine. The one hit kill mechanic sometimes happens.
Yeah,
Overall, though, I feel like it's also a lot more consistent.
yeah, facts. Like, if you hit an ammo rack, that probably makes sense.
Yeah, unless you're firing Sabo, in which case it just goes straight through. Or if you're playing low BR British tanks, which only have solid shot, that is actual pain. Those actually hurt to play.
hmm So, but yeah, no. So 1,000%. It's. I should probably stop us here, otherwise we will just continue to rag on wargaming, and then we only have so much time, and we're
It's
already
like
at an hour.
we can only beat the dead horse so many times.
Yeah,
It's
it's okay, Danny. I'm gonna play some tanks this week, and then when we go to record on Friday, we'll have more stuff to bitch about.
yeah.
We'll save all the bitching for all the other stuff next week. And then again, we can honestly like, I'll message you throughout the week of like, hey, this happened. Do you want to talk about this on the recording? And then just hit me
Yeah.
with a yay or nay, and you can do the literally the exact same thing to me. However, I swear to God, if you mention any news about fucking Fortnite or Roblox, I may block you.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about either of those. The only time that I play the only time that I even remotely play Fortnite is if I play with somebody I know or I get invited to do something, and that's about it.
I feel that. So, with that being said, with the new Trials of Casuals podcast being revamped, uh, Danny, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube and Twitch at Catbox Danny, and I have in this span of time I have opened a second YouTube channel
What the fuck?
for for short form content, and that is Catbox Danny videos.
Okay. Nice. Didn't know that. That's good to know. Uh, you can find your boy here over at Domini Fox on YouTube or Twitch. You can also find me at Domini Fox1 on Twitter. At some point, I'm just gonna start putting like our maybe put our little cameras a little higher and then putting our socials like right beneath the camera so people can look.
Yeah,
So we'll figure that out. But yeah, thank you so much, Danny, for stopping by. And yeah, I'll see you on Friday. Sound good?
yeah,
All
that
right.
sounds good.
Perfect. With that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I appreciate for those of you that watched the entire hour. I know that a lot of this is brand new, and it's going to be a lot more casual and laid back from when we were doing patch notes. So I appreciate it for your continued support. Danny appreciates it. Again, go to Danny's YouTube and streams to go watch their videos. With that being said, thank you all so much, and don't be a sweat lord. We'll catch you guys next time.